It's the grandson of right thought. So I know a lot of y'all was in y'all feelings about the video about Esau, but this is between Esau and the Most High. And we're going to read about Esau and how he's been getting down through history. And so that you all know the truth of why ABBA is doing what he's doing, why the judgment that's being done on the earth is being done, and to who and why. I'm going to read from the book of Esther. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. So this is during Persian rule on the earth. So the Jews are in Persian captivity. And the Persian king at the time, Ahasuerus, has a man named Haman who he promoted above everybody else around him. You see, gave him a high position of high estate. Now it says that Haman was the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite. Okay, so we're going to understand who that is. Let's see. Let's see about the Agagite. This is 1 Samuel chapter 15. Samuel also said unto Saul, The Lord sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way, when he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek, and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. And Saul came to a city of Amalek, and laid wait in the valley. Okay? Amalek. The Most High says, I remember what Amalek did, and now I'm going to destroy them for what they did. Okay? Now, who is Amalek? Let's see. Genesis 36:12. And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son. So Eliphaz is the son of Esau. And she bare who bore? Timnah, the concubine to Eliphaz. She bare to Eliphaz Amalek. These were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. So Eliphaz, Esau's son, has another son named Amalek. So Amalek is the grandson of Esau. So the Most High says, I remember what they did. Well, let's read what Amalek did. Deuteronomy chapter 25. Remember what Amalek did unto thee. This is Moses speaking. When ye were come forth out of Egypt, that is what I was remembering. How he met thee by the way, and smote the hindmost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, the weak ones. Amalek attacked Israel and destroyed the weak. When thou wast faint and weary, they were thirsty, they had been out in the desert, traveling in the wilderness, and Amalek, like a coward that he is, came and attacked Israel. And he feared not God. Therefore it shall be, when the Lord thy God hath given thee rest from all thine enemies round about, and the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Thou shalt not forget it. Blot it out. Okay? Now let's see. This is the manifestation of that here. You see in Samuel. He says, I remember what they did when y'all came out of Egypt. See? Now, go kill their ass. You see how this is going? We're going to go back to Esther. It's all going to make sense. And Saul smote the Amalekites from Havilah until thou comest to Shur, that is over against Egypt. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and the people spared Agag. Agag? Haman, Hammedatha, the Agagite. You see? Son of Agag. So Haman is a son of Agag who was a king. That's why he's of high estate. His bloodline, you see, of Esau. You see that? He's a descendant of a king. Y'all see? And he didn't kill Agag. He was supposed to kill all of the Amalekites. He spared it. He spared some. He wasn't supposed to do that. You see? Now let's see what Samuel was going to do. And Saul said unto Samuel, Yea, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord, and have gone the way which the Lord sent me, and have brought Agag. So Saul tells Samuel that he brought Agag, the king of the Amalekites, and had utterly destroyed the Amalekites. But the people took of the spoil, and he's telling them and everything. And Samuel said, Hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. So you should have listened to what the Most High said. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. He said he rebelled against the Most High. You're supposed to kill all of them. You didn't. You see? You were supposed to fulfill the Most High's word. It's going to come back and be a snare to Israel. You're going to see it too. That he didn't kill them all. He should have done it, but he didn't. Then says Samuel, Bring ye hither to me Agag, the king of the Amalekites. And Agag came unto him delicately. And Agag said, Surely the bitterness of death is past. He thought, Hey, I'm safe now, man. I'm good. You're going to set me free. And Samuel said, As thy sword hath made women childless, so shall thy mother be childless among women. And Samuel hewed Agag in pieces before the Lord in Gilgal. Killed his ass. And Saul came no more to see Saul until the day of his death. Nevertheless, Samuel mourned for Saul, and the Lord repented that he had made Saul king over Israel. You see that? Now, back to Esther. Now that you know that Haman is an Edomite, y'all see that? You see? Now, what's Esther chapter 3. So he promoted Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, and advanced him and set him above all the princes that were with him. Okay? And all the king's servants that were in the king's gates bowed and reverenced Haman, the Edomite, see? For the king had so commanded concerning him. He said, all y'all got to bow to him when he walked through. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. Uh-oh. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gates, said unto Mordecai, Why transgressest thou the king's commandment? He said, Why you ain't bowing to Haman when he walked through? Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them. They said every day, they said, Man, bow to him. And he's like, Nope, every day. That they told Haman, they told on him, they were some snitches, to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand. For he had told them that he was a Jew. You see that? He said, I ain't bowing to no man. I'm a Jew on the earth. I am above all people upon the face of this earth. I ain't bowing to him. You see that? And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. The Edomite was full of wrath at the Jew. Same hatred we've been reading about all along. Perpetual hatred. Now let's see if he gets violent. Because remember, he did violence against Jacob and he has a perpetual hatred. Well, now we see the perpetual hatred because he won't bow to him. You see? Now we're going to see if he gets violent. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone. There it goes, getting violent. For they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai. So I'm going to kill all the... Look at the violence. He said, one nigga won't bow to me. One Negro ain't bowing to me. I'm going to kill all of them. You see that? Let's keep going. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, There is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom. Ain't that what Abba said he's going to do? Scatter them among the people. Look at the enemy of Israel. Look what he's doing. And their laws are diverse from all people. Israel got a law that's different from everybody else, right? Yes. Neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed. And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business to bring it into the king's treasuries. He said, kill them all. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. You see how it makes it so clear? Agagite, Agag, the king of the Amalekites. Amalek is the grandson of Esau. You see? And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also to do with them as it seemeth good to thee. So he basically asked for a grant. He said, give me the money so I can collect the people that I need to get it done. Make me an army. You see? And he said, okay, go ahead, do what you want to do. All right. So let's go on down. Let's see. He wrote it in every language and sent it to a province, a letter saying that they're going to kill all the Jews. In the name of King Ahasuerus was it written and sealed with the king's ring. Remember, he gave him his ring. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews. You see that? All Jews, Negroes, that is. Both young and old, little children and women. This nigga said, because one man didn't bow to me, I'm going to kill the women, the children. You see what the Most High said, what he say about Esau? Y'all see that shit? In one day. You see that? Kill them all in one day. That's how this nigga gets down. You think it's anything different today? He losing his kingdom today. You think he not going to come down on Israel and try to kill all the Israelites? You think that's going to be different today? Y'all sleep. Even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar. I better pay attention to that. And to take the spoil of them for a prey. Take their belongings and everything. Just kill them, do whatever you want to do to them. Woman, child, if it don't matter. The copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published upon to all people that they should be ready against that day. Sent to all languages, nations, people, just so they can kill them all. See? Because at this time, everybody's under Persian rule. The post went out, being hastened by the king's commandment, and the decree was given in Shushan the palace. And the king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city Shushan was perplexed. They were like, why are you killing all the Jews? This nigga Haman sitting down relaxing like he ain't did a damn thing. Y'all see that? All right. So now we know about Amalek. We know about Haman. We know that he wants to kill all the Jews. You see that? Now let's see if there was a resurgence of these niggas on the earth. Now it came to 2 Samuel. Now it came to pass after the death of Saul, who was supposed to kill all the Amalekites, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Amalekites, still fighting these niggas. You see? Same enemy. Same enemy. All right? Nah. He thinks that everything's all good and that his decree is going to get passed. But Esther worked a little plan. When you get a chance, read the whole book, you'll see. Okay? Now let's see what happened. And the king said unto Esther at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition? And it shall be granted to thee. So now Ahasuerus is speaking to Esther, who is a Jew. For all those who don't know, who is Mordecai's family member, actually. And what is thy request? Even to the half of the kingdom it shall be performed. Then answered Esther and said, my petition and request is, if I find favor in the sight of the king, and if it please the king to grant my petition to perform my request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them, and I will do tomorrow as the king has said. Now Haman don't know that Esther is a Jew, who is the queen, because she hid our identity. Mordecai told her to. Like I said, read the whole book, you'll see. So she's hiding her identity. But remember, he said, kill all the Jews, which that is her as well. That's the queen. He doesn't even know it. Haman doesn't know. So she invites them to a dinner. Okay. Then went Haman forth that day joyful with a glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, now he's leaving when he's feeling good. He's like, hell yeah, I'm invited to the dinner and every damn thing. The queen invited me personally. Shit. He's feeling good. But he sees Mordecai in the king's gate, that he stood not up, nor moved for him. He was full of indignation against Mordecai. Would a lion move for a kitten? No. He was pissed off against Mordecai against it. He can't let it go. Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself. He held it. Fuck it, I'm going home. And when he came home, he sent and called for his friends and Zeresh, his wife. And Haman told them of the glory of his riches. I'm rich as hell. And the multitude of his children. I got all these kids. And all the things wherein the king had promoted. I'm got a hell of a reputation. Everybody bowing to me and shit, worshiping me. And how he had advanced him above the princes and the servants and the king. I'm above all the rest of them niggas in there. Haman said, moreover, yea, even Esther the queen did let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared, but myself. I told you he was feeling himself because of that. And tomorrow am I invited unto her, also with the king. It's not about to eat dinner with the king and the queen, bro. You don't know the queen is a Jew. Yet all this availeth me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate. You don't know that Esther is a Jew, dumbass nigga. He said, I don't care about none of that shit as long as I see Mordecai alive, in other words. Then said Zeresh his wife and all his friends unto him, let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon. You say, love lynching a nigga. Don't they? Don't they? Edomites always, this is always what they come down to, ain't it? Then go thou in merrily with the king unto the banquet. And the thing pleased Haman, and he caused the gallows to be made. His wife told him to do that shit, y'all, and his friends. What the fuck? Kill that nigga. Hang him on a noose. And then leave happily afterwards and go eat. Kill a nigga and go eat afterwards. Just like an Edomite would do. Just like an Amalekite would do. You see? Now, Esther chapter 6. On that night could not the king sleep, and he commanded to bring the book of records of the chronicles, and they were read before the king. And it was found written that Mordecai had told of Bigthana and Teresh, two of the king's chamberlains, the keepers of the door, who sought to lay hand on the king Ahasuerus. So Mordecai had warned the king that it was two chamberlains that was going to try to kill him, a plot of assassination. Mordecai told him that, and it was written in this book. And the king said, what honor and dignity have been done to Mordecai for this? He said, did I even hook him up for doing that for me? Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, there is nothing done for him. He ain't did nothing for him. And the king said, who is in the court? Now Haman was come into the outward court of the king's house to speak unto the king, to hang Mordecai on the gallows that he had prepared for him. See, he got to ask permission to kill him. See. And the king's servant said unto him, behold, Haman standeth in the court. And the king said, let him come in. So Haman came in, and the king said unto him, what shall be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor? He says, what should I do to a man that I want to honor? Now Haman thought in his heart, to whom would the king delight to do honor more than to myself? What a fucking narcissist, right? He says, who would the king want to honor more than me? He must be talking about me. And Haman answered the king, for the man whom the king delighteth to honor, let the royal apparel be brought, which the king used to wear, and the horse that the king rides upon, and the crown royal which is set upon his head. He said, shit, make me like the king, nigga. And let this apparel and horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most noble princes, that they may array the man withal, whom the king delighteth to honor, and bring him on horseback through the street of the city, and proclaim before him, thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delighteth to honor. He thought he was talking about himself, so he was like, shit, this is what I want for me, you see. Then the king said to Haman, make haste, and take the apparel and the horse that thou hast said, and do so to Mordecai the Jew, that sitteth at the king's gate. Let nothing fall of all that thou hast spoken. He said, such a great idea. Go and you go do it. Because he said, one of the high king's most noble princes. He said, I took my most noble prince, Haman, and sent him to Mordecai the Jew. You got to go put the royal shit on him. Then took Haman the apparel and the horse, and arrayed Mordecai, and brought him on horseback through the street of the city. He had to do it, y'all, and proclaimed before him, thus shall it be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor. He had to say the shit. See how Abba do? Abba got a sense of humor, don't he? And Mordecai came again to the king's gate, but Haman hasted to his house mourning, and having his head covered. Shame shall cover thee for your violence against your brother Jacob. You see? You see that shit? And Haman told Zeresh his wife and all his friends everything that had befallen him. Then said his wise men and Zeresh his wife unto him, if Mordecai be of the seed of the Jews, before whom thou house begin to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him, but shall surely fall before him. You see that? They said, man, shit, it ain't shit you could do. He is a true Jew, bro. It ain't nothing you could do against him. And while they were yet talking with him, came the king's chamberlains and hasted to bring Haman into the banquet that Esther had prepared. Now you got to get ready to go to dinner. He like, damn, you already told me I can't prevail. Now I got to go to dinner? Oh, damn. You see? So the king and Haman came to the banquet with Esther the queen. And the king said again unto Esther on the second day of the banquet, what is thy petition, Queen Esther? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? And it shall be performed, even to the half of the kingdom. He said, baby, I give you half my kingdom, girl. I love you so much. Then Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given at my petition and my people at my request. For we are sold. See, no one knew she was a Jew. For we are sold, I and my people. What a brave woman here that's doing this in front of the king. I and my people to be destroyed, to be slain, and to perish. But if we had been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I had held my tongue, although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage. Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther the queen, who is he? He don't know she a Jew, remember? And where is he that durst presume in his heart to do so? He said, who the hell think he gonna hurt you, baby? Who the fuck he gonna think gonna run up on you? And Esther said, the adversary, see, Satan, an enemy, is that wicked Haman. Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen. Remember, he's sitting right there at the table eating. And the king, arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath, went to the palace garden, and Haman stood up to make requests for his life to Esther the queen. So, oh my God, Esther, save me. I didn't know. For he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king. He saw the king was going to kill his ass. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place where the banquet of wine. And Haman was fallen upon the bed whereon Esther, he was on a bed trying to petition to her. Then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in this house? He said, he's trying to rape my wife? And the word went out of the king's mouth. They covered Haman's face. They grabbed his ass. And Harbona, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, behold also the gallows, 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good for the king, standeth in the house of Haman. They said he got some gallows at his house he was going to build to hang Haman on it. Then the king said, hang his ass on it. Hang Haman on that bitch. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified. Haman's plot backfired on his ass. So what you think gonna happen today, Esau? Your shit gonna backfire just like it always has. You see? You see? And Esther spake yet again before the king, and fell down at his feet, and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite, and his device that he had devised against the Jews, that writing, that petition to kill all the Jews. You see that? She said, let us protect ourselves. This is where Purim came from. You see that? All right. He says, let them defend themselves. And so they did. All right. So now we understand that what was the end of Haman, the Amalekite, who is an Edomite. Okay, now everybody should know that they are the enemies of the Jews as written in scripture. Now, who are they today? The Amalekites. There you have it. The historian Josephus calls them mamzer, bastards. Hitler called them mamzers, bastards. He found out that the Negroes were the true Jews, and he called these, the fake Jews, mamzers and bastards. You see that? This is Amalek today, the enemy of the Negro. The enemies of the Negroes, the enemies of the true Israel, the enemies of the true Israelites. Amalek, you're exposed. You're exposed. Your little jokes aren't funny anymore. Your propaganda is not funny anymore. It doesn't work anymore. Your jokes are not laughable anymore. The joke's on your ass. All your little movies and all your little great technology that you think you've come up with, it's over. You're the enemy of Israel. You've been exposed. You are a bastard, a mamzer. All of you Amalekites. All of you, Amalekites, sons of Esau, Edomites, enemies of Israel, you've been exposed today. Abba Yah is going to make you hang from them gallows. He's going to turn your plans against your own head. Y'all have been duped. Y'all have been duped by a people that say they are Israel. They are false. They are enemies of Israel. They are enemies. This is an enemy of Israel, the true Negroes, the true Israel. They have duped you and deceived all of you. And you have blessed them in the place of the true Israel. And you've cursed the true Israel. And now you shall be cursed for it, lest you repent. Silawam Israel.